Hello everyone, we Sonic the Jug Gamer here, and welcome back to Katawa Shoujo. Is this a bit loud? I'm louder most likely. The next day, I wake up feeling a little lightheaded. It's almost noon already. Sleeping late is fine, since it's a Sunday and there are no classes. Not just a Sunday though, but the festival as well. From my window, I can already see some people at the... Wait, this only lasts a single day? I just realized that! So we're doing all this work for one day. Wow, okay. I can already see some people at the soba booth slinging noodles onto plates for people with a craving for low quality food. This is a bit loud. Oh, so brutal. I throw back a handful of my morning meds and ponder how to spend the day. There'll be a few exams in the coming week, but I don't consider those as ominous as others, as I'm not as worried about them as I probably should be. No urgent obligations regarding education. I should be free to spend the day as I see fit. Finishing my morning routine, I exited the hallway, intending to go out and find something to eat. Passing by his door, I decided to see what Kenji's up to today out of impulse. I'm curious if he has plans, since everyone is doing something. Then again, I can picture him having a built soundproof shelter in his room. Or possibly something like a fort, complete with "No Girls Allowed" sign. And with the "Girls" crossed out and "Body" crudely scrawled underneath it. Knocking on his door, which is luckily devoid of any kind of sign, I hear again the unsettling clicking of at least 10 locks being pulled back. The door opens a crack. Who is it? You're supposed to ask that before you open the door. Oh, it's you! Damn, it's early. It's not really that early. What is it, man? Nothing. Was just going to ask what you're doing today. Half the school is out there already. Out where? Why? What? What? Is today special? Why are they there? Hurrah! I can hear them. It's loud. Don't tell me. Has the invasion begun? He suddenly looks more alarmed. What day is it, man? Yeah, I guess you can't see the big wooden booths outside and people selling stuff. What the hell are you talking about? I have my curtains closed at all times to thwart the snipers. It's the festival. You know that, right? Oh, shit, that's today? Damn it. I can't believe I forgot. I don't have my fort finished yet. This is bad. This is gonna be a very bad day. It's good you told me this, man. This is going to be a bad day. Why? Oh man, they're going to be everywhere. The people outside my window, socializing. Kenji rubs his temples nervously, suddenly looking very ill. It's gonna be loud as hell. Damn, and I'm going to go out today. But now it's ruined. Everything's ruined. This is awful. This sucks. What the hell? This really sucks. I can't go anywhere now. There's nowhere to run. Kenji seems nervous. You could even say he's majorly freaking out, so I'm fitting him perfectly. I can't believe this! So that's what today was! Damn! I couldn't even prepare for it! I couldn't even brace myself, and now it's here! And I can't do anything! You should have told me this earlier, dude! I mean, at least I know, but I could have known earlier! Imagine what I could have accomplished! Sorry, I thought you knew. So I guess you're not going to do anything today? The weather's even good. Yesterday was really windy, so I thought today would be a cold. It's not. No, so there's no reason to just stay inside. Yeah, you should check the festival out. Kenji groans and covers his face with his hands. No! I can't do it! They'll leave me alive out there, I know it! That has to be a joke, but he said it with such a straight face. Relatively straight. What are you going to do? We should hang out in here! You can help me build my fort! We will still make it if we work together? I don't know. I'm pretty hungry, so I thought I'd get some food first, and then check out the attractions. Your quest project seemed pretty cool. And I gave a hand with it, so I just want to see at least that one. I chat with Lily, I guess. Speaking of that, don't you have any obligations for the project? Are you out of your mind? That blind board is up to no good. I can feel it in my spleen, man. Her presence is like a dark shadow that's in the great way of my great vision. As expected of blind people. What? Besides, I thought you were also... He holds up his hand to interrupt me. Only legally! Metaphorically, I can see farther than any man before me has seen! Kenji looks stoic into the metaphorical distance to emphasize his statement, thrusting his chin forward to look manlier. Actually, it's just a corridor wall 2 meters away, but it's all the same. I can see the future of mankind, and it's a dark one, unless the threat of woman is stifled. They are everywhere. He fingers his scarf nervously, faster and faster like he's trying to start a fire, then slowly begins to calm down once the panic attack finishes running its course. I'm going to find some place to hide in, a safe haven, and then knock the lights out of myself, so that I don't have any to experience this horrible day. I have the perfect thing for that. I must prepare now. Don't go to the festival. Okay. Later, dude. The door slowly closes with a low creak, and I don't know how to feel about what Kenji just said. After buying a plastic plate of takoyaki from a stall belonging to the class next to ours, I take a seat in the school gardens and watch people pass as I tentatively nibble away on the rather bland tasting item. Guess I shouldn't complain. It's better than nothing, and it didn't cost much. As I look out towards the school, watching the people coming and going proves a surprisingly entertaining way of passing the time as I eat. Oh god, it's crowded again! Little children accompanied by parents or grandparents gamble about in the din. From event to event, one hand dragging the company and the other bearing an oversized, colorful snack. I can't help but notice the age range among the people here is skewed towards the elderly. Something that I've also noticed when I was walking around town. This must be one of those towns where the only people left are those that lived here their whole lives. I'm not turning this down. Oh, much better. I can actually hear the music now. Whole lives and ardently refuse to leave. And those wanting to live out the rest of their lives in one of the increasingly few tranquil places. I guess that also goes away to explaining how conservative Yamaku's school culture seems to be. Not that I mind one bit. I kind of like how calm Yamaku and the surroundings are. The heat, though, is another matter entirely. Staying in one place for so long has focused my mind on how annoyingly humid it's getting. Now that the hottest part of the day is here. I may get moving if... Ah! Sound of the calling bells takes me completely by surprise. They stand up, a reaction shared by a few of the people strolling around as well. PA system cracks to life after the tolling bells end. Its age shows as the principal makes a barely intangible announcement from it, officially opening the festival that's very much in full swing. It's quite amusing to contrast the pleasant smiles of the elderly folk against the alternatively pained and boring grimaces of the younger charges. The students, on the other hand, seem to pay it little heed. Nevertheless, as the address finally ends, all are united in polite, if not overly enthusiastic, applause, and then get back to business. Slipping a hand in my pocket to look as relaxed as possible, I casually glance around for something to do. It's somewhat difficult to see very far with all these people around. As I fall back on a tired and trusted rule. Go where everyone else seems to be gathering. Right now, that is the school courtyard and surroundings. Throwing the used plate to the trash can, I make my way toward the school building. Seeing the number of stalls around the perimeter of the school building surprises me. Quite a few of the classes must have opted to have multiple stalls. In deciding what to visit first, I caught a sight of a familiar banner with a blue pattern border in red text. Lily's stall is as good a place to start as any. Curious as how it's going. After all of the work she and her class have been doing for it. Stepping up to it, I begin to see why the class took so long to organize everything. Easily twice as right as many of the other stalls. Twice? And the equipment for cooking stored everywhere. It's closer to an outdoor restaurant than a festival event. No wonder Lily was saying ambitious. I thought they were still only doing one stall. As the student in front of me takes a bowl of noodles and leaves, I walk up to the counter. The girl behind it seems quite exasperated and asks me to wait a moment before she disappears underneath the counter. Seizing the moment, I took a quick glance around. Seems to be rising from everywhere as pots and pans simmer away. The most blind of the students are unpacking ingredients while being helped by someone who is probably the teacher of 3-2. It doesn't take long to notice Lily among them. Talking with the teacher, she quickly counts out the boxes and packets with her fingers. From her expression and the fact that both she and the teacher seem to be in a state of mild confusion, it appears that there's been some problem in coordination. Before I can stare any longer, the girl behind the counter pops up again, only to look back and ask where the spare change box is. Lily pauses for a moment before she and the girl switch places at the counter. The teacher quickly walks off somewhere. Sorry about that. We're having a few problems. What would you like? Takes me a second to remember what I come here for. My eyes quickly dart to the side of the to view the menu sitting on the counter. Oh, I guess some miso soup? Ah, is that Hasao? Yep, looks like you're pretty busy. Her face all but confirms it as she drops her waitress facade. Somewhere along the line, our order got mixed up. We were trying to fix it now, but it looks like we only have half of what we needed. Wouldn't serving smaller portions cover over the problem? It seems like that's what we'll have to do. Though I wish we didn't. The fact that a good half of our class is gone doesn't help either. That's behind her to see how many people are actually operating the stall. Could be over about 8. I take it that's why your teacher left? That's right. She's going to try and round up a few more of our classmates to help. Hearing the sound of footsteps behind me, I stealthily glance backwards to see an elderly couple taking a place in line. I guess I better stop loitering around and chatting. Here's the money for the soup. Soup? Oh, right. Coming right up. Lily turns and calls for a bowl of miso soup as I hand over the money for it. Taking the coins in her palm, I can't help but notice how effectively she counts them out with her long, pale fingers. Eventually satisfied that I've handed over the correct change, she puts it into a small metal tray. It isn't long before the soup is made and carefully handed to her, after which she turns and subsequently passes it to me. Thanks. I'll come back to drop off the bowl. Thank you, Hisao. Oh, there's another thing. Have you seen Hanako? Hanako? No, not today. Why? She gives a small sigh of abject disappointment. It's okay. I was just wondering what she was doing for the festival. You'll come back when you're done, then? Sure, I'll keep an eye out for Hanako, too. Thank you, Hisao. I walk off with the stall and find a seat, carefully cradling the steaming wooden bowl in both hands. Compared to the dumplings from before, this is quite nice. A little too cool compared to what it probably should be, perhaps. But the flavor is enough to cover for that reasonably well. As I drank, I can't help but feel somewhat guilty for not being as involved in the festival as the others. It can't really be helped, considering I was dropped into school only a week ago. Still weighs heavily on my mind. That and the fact that a few students don't really seem to be enjoying the festival as much as the visitors. Eventually, I finish my bowl and leave it for a stall to drop it off. Considering that there seems to be no line at all, I take my time walking up. Seems the teacher's mission paid off. There are now over a dozen students helping, as much of the unpacking has been done. Despite most of them seeming quite relaxed as they walk, Lily still appears to be somewhat stressed. Lily doesn't look impressed at all. I can't really blame her. On top of her issues with her stall, she still seems to be worried about Hanako. Can't really help her with the former, so I guess the only way I can help is by trying to take her mind off of our shy mutual friend. Placing the bowl back on the counter, I call out to Lily. Hey Lily, don't worry about Hanako. I'll go find her and hang out with her, okay? I can see Lily's relief plainly written across her face. Thanks, Hisao. And if you see anyone from my class, can you tell them to come back here, please? Will do. Have a good one. And make sure you take a break, okay? I will if I can. See you later, Hisao. Sounds like Rose. I leave Lily in the stall and head out in search of Hanako. In a way, I feel bad for leaving her with the crowds, but even though she was clearly under pressure, I can't help but think that she is enjoying herself. The halls are packed with swaying crowds, meandering throughout the festival. If there's one thing I know about Hanako, is that she's not going to be anywhere near this. With the students showing their friends and family their dorms, I doubt she'll be there either. Following blind intuition, I move against the grain of the crowd. Thankfully, this crowd seems to be slightly less festive than your usual festival crowd. I assume this is out of consideration for the student body. As I force my way through the masses, it doesn't take long for them to thin down into nothingness. This is not surprising, since I am standing before the library. Even the most eager of students don't bother to show anyone this section of the school. Which, kinda question why. Actually, I guess when I was at school festivals, I never bothered to go to the library either. As I enter the library, the noise of the festival fades into a dull background noise, and soon I am in the reading area of the rear room. Behind one of the partitioned desks, I could see the top of a head with straight dark hair catching my eye. Hey, Hanako! I had a feeling I'd find you here. The head jumps a little in shock before slowly peeping over the partition. Hisao? Hey, the lead's pretty busy, so she sent me to find you. Oh, do you want to sit down? Actually, I'm feeling a little hungry. We just ate! Would you like to get something to eat from one of the stands? I brought some food, so I shouldn't be surprised, but it was worth a try. Expecting her to go out today was a long shot. How about we eat in the tea room? I passed by it on the way here, and no one was around. We can make some food there, and it'll be a little more comfortable. What do you say? Sure, let's go. Hanako closes her books and puts it away with deliberately practiced movements. Good to go? Yeah. We walk side by side from the library to the tea room. As expected, there's barely a soul around. If it weren't for the murmurs through the walls, you wouldn't tell that there was a huge festival going on outside. Hanako carries her bag in both hands and focuses on just the floor ahead of her. Every now and again, she seems to break her pace a little and steps in slightly shorter paces. The first time it happened, I gave it no mind, but I soon noticed that she does it on a regular basis. Are you alright? She stops dead in her tracks. What? I don't know. It looked like you were tripping or something. A pink blush rises in her cheeks as she gazes returns to the floor. It's nothing. You know, when you say nothing like that, people are inspired to ask further questions. For a second, I don't think she's going to answer. Prepared to leave as it be, I almost set off to walking again when... It's, a game. Game? Do you see the floor here? What a bizarre question. The floor looks like any other floor, covered in those tiles made of squares of linoleum. Nothing noteworthy. Yes, well, yes. What about it? Sometimes, when there's no one around, I only step on the darker ones. Hanako's voice trails off as her explanation continues, till I can barely hear her voice over the roaring silence of the empty hall. Darker ones? Shuffling her feet, Hanako points to the toe of her shoe at a tile that is barely a shade darker than the others. Like these ones. Oh, right. So these ones are no good? I point out a nearby tile. Yeah, something like that. Oh, I see. Do you play this game a lot? Hanako shakes her head. Just when the halls are empty? She nods. Well then, no point in stopping. I'm going to get really hungry. She nods again, this time with a little more enthusiasm. Well then, let's go. We set off down the hallway, and this time I noticed that Hanako is paying a little less attention to the floor. I wonder, just how lonely does someone have to be to come up with a game like that? I am feeling called out! I mean, to be fair, I don't do it with, like, the darker ones. Like, I don't do something that minute. But I would play a game like that where I'll go and purposefully step on specific parts. I do that to this very day at work. Well, I'll step only on the yellow lines. I only step in between the yellow lines, not... Because, like, they make, like, a shape box. And I can't re-step in that one. And whatever shape it is, I have to go and step to the adjacent box. And, I am feeling so called out. Don't you dare do this to me. Before I realize what I'm doing, I found myself to aim each step so it lands on the correct tiles. See? It's fun! The noise of the festival is slightly louder inside the tea room, but the breeze coming through the open window makes it worth it. Without thinking, I walked to the windowsill and inhaled deeply. Sometimes forget how clean the air is here compared to back home. Would you like some tea? That would be great, thanks. It occurs to me that this is the first time I've been alone with Hanako without her trying to be somewhere else. Turning from the window, I watch as she makes a simple pot of tea and arranges some sandwiches onto a plate. I've seen her do this before a number of times, but this time she seems slightly different. It's like she's calm. Eventually, she places a small tray on the table and pours 2 cups of tea. The fresh scent of brewed tea mingles with the breeze, and for a second, I feel like I'm the only one in the world. I think I know why you like this room now. I don't know what you mean. Well, there's quite a few people out there, but in here it's like another world. You can pretend that there's no one around for miles. You're right. It's like the world has forgotten this room. And because of that, you can forget about the outside. That would be appealing in some cases. As far as I can tell, conventional bullying doesn't exist in this school. But then again, I haven't seen a single person talk to Hanako besides Lily. If you're ignored by the world, a place where you can forget its existence would hold a special appeal. That's a good point. It's like this room gives you some kind of complete freedom. Yeah. So, say, do you play chess? Yes! I do! Not as great though. I know the rules and I can do decent, I'd say. Like, I can beat someone that's completely new, but if I go against anyone competent, I'm not likely to win. Chess? I played it a bit, I guess. You've played before? Little. Without saying anything more, Hanako moves to one of the cupboards and digs out a small chess set. Do you want? Sure, why not? I got it off, but she doesn't seem to mind it. Rearrange the pieces and she's so close, give her a hug. Rearrange the pieces and before long we are sending pawns charging to the inevitable fates. Go, my pawn! I take my time and intently examine each move and its consequences. Nostalgia for the game taking second place to the matters at hand. For a time, the game is a lengthy battle of attrition, but I spot an opening and tear a line into the fences. A few moves later, her king is cornered by several of my pieces. Yes! Checkmate! You're not bad at this, are you? Not as appraisal. Her technique is pretty good, but several times I was able to exploit her lack of prediction. I pick up a piece and examine it. It looks relatively new, but yet worn for its age. I guess not. Does Lily play? The absence of Hanako's answer causes me to think about my question. I'll be honest, I'd give him the exact same look. A bit. Wait, really? This is the first time I played against someone other than her, or? She cuts herself off abruptly, leaving the answer hanging in the air. Someone she knew before coming to Yamaku, maybe? Akira? Well then, I'm honored to have played against you. Can we play again? She asked as if she was asking me to cut off my own hands. The spirit of competition's got into her. Sure, though don't expect him to go easy on you this time. Not that it was before, mind. She seems to appreciate the competitive tone. Same here. Aww! As we're setting up the pieces, there's a noise at the door. Oh, Lily! Good afternoon. Lily! Oh, hey there, Lily. Are you finished? You are both here? Wonderful. At any rate, our teacher managed to round up some extra help, so I was able to leave. Have you been here since you left? Pretty much. We've been playing a bit of chess. Would you like a cup of tea? Actually, I think it might be a good idea to go outside for a little while. The instant drop in Hanako's face shows her objection to this plan, even though she says nothing. I feel strangely compelled to voice what is plainly in view of her face, but Lily can't see. I kind of think we should just stay here. Really? It's so crowded here that I was thinking we should leave the school and head to the local tea house. You mean Shanghai? Of course. With everyone at the festival, it should be practically empty. Tea house? Oh, that's right. You probably don't know of it. There's a tea house not far from here, which we go to every so often. Sounds like a plan. Hanako, what do you think? Hanako jumps a little at being forced into the conversation, but at least she seems less distraught than before. If it's Shanghai, I think it'll be nice. Well then, it's settled. Let's be on our way. Hanako and I rise from our table and our print chess game. Before I could do anything, Hanako had poured the pieces into a small container and placed the water away. Looks like we're ready to go. Please, lead on. They're so close together. Hanako moves to Lily's side and we venture out into the school corridors. The path leads me through a series of unfamiliar doors and we emerged on the side of the building opposite to the festival grounds. Insulted by the heavy stone of the building, the noise from the crowd has faded to a murmur. Strange, I thought that most people would be beginning to leave by now. They're probably here to view the fireworks. Fireworks?! Yes, apparently the school puts on quite a show. A lot of people come from town just to watch them. Lily's decision to leave the school grounds seems to make sense now. Hanako will probably have a hard time with the whole town descending onto the school. Or ascending, as the case may be. For the second time since arriving at Yamaku, I found myself walking down this road with Lily. Only now that I barely hear the instant noise of the festival, do I realize how loud it was. I can hear my ears ringing slightly in the still evening air as they recover from the day's assault on them. Hanako clings to Lily, but still manages to guide her along the road. That, and avoiding the occasional gaze from curious pedestrians, appears to completely sap her constitution. She barely raises her focus from the ground in front of her, nor does she utter a word. Lily, on the other hand, maintains her prim and proper persona, just as she does in school. It's obvious she purposefully puts effort into her appearance, rather than hiding it as Hanako does. It's strikingly how different they are in a way of their holding themselves outside of Yamaku's grounds. That said, it's obvious in both their cases that they do visibly change. Inside Yamaku, everyone is special, which negates the specialness of it. But once we venture outside the school gates, we are returned to the status of outsider and generic labels. Especially when we are still in school uniform. It's like hanging a sign around your neck challenging people to figure out what is wrong with you. I'm surprised that so many students keep it on. Then again, with canes and wheelchairs common among the students, I guess it's not really that much of a giveaway. Or maybe I'm the only one that sees this as a stigma? Maybe you get used to it after a time, like any other school uniform. The tea house seems fairly stranded from the outside. Just an ordinary building with typical signs decorating the entrance. It looks like the type of place you'd walk by without a thought. Just another generic cafe in a sea of thousands. If Hanako hadn't steered Lily into the entrance, I'd have continued on down the road without even knowing that it existed. Inside the tea house, it takes on a more traditional feel. Everything seems to have been made from the same lump of timber, from the counter and benches to the high-backed booths around the walls. But the most striking feature of the room is the lack of life. I think I can faintly hear something bubbling away in the background, but otherwise the room is silent. Without any direction, we simply wait near the entrance, politely obeying the "Please wait to be seated" sign. Is this place closed or something? Oh, fuck! The sound of a chair falling over echoes throughout the empty room, and a head shoots up from inside a booth. I was sleeping. Welcome to Shigai. Yuko, dressed in a pastel apron and clutching a menu, rushes to greet us. Her misaligned glasses and rough hair cast suspicion on her previous statement. I can't do that voice. But whether she was asleep or not isn't the first question that leaps to my mind. You work here now? What happened to the library? What? Lily? Hisao? Welcome to Shigai. Yuko, still waking up, jerks into a violent bow, dislodging her glasses in the process. My glasses! As they pick up her spectacles off the floor, Lily offers an explanation. Yuko works here part-time as well as the library. It's one of the reasons we like to come here. Yuko takes her glasses from my hand, shakily putting them back on. Yes, that's right. Thanks. Shall I show you to your table? There's no one else here, so you can choose your table and order whatever you like. But there may be a delay, as I will have to make it myself. It's alright, Yuko. Just a pot of black tea and a plate of sandwiches will be fine. Right, I'll get on to that. Yuko hurries off to the back of the cafe, leaving us stranded at the entrance. She pulls the swinging half doors open before realizing she hasn't seated us. I'm sorry. Please sit wherever you like. I'll be right back. Following her advice, I lead Lily to the nearest booth as Hanako follows. They begin to sit down. Next to Lily. I realize how appropriate this place is for Hanako. The high-backed booths totally separate you from the rest of the room, and it doesn't look like it gets all that many customers. All of the furnishing from the cushions and... Can I read? All of the furnishing from the cushions on the benches to the condiment holders look dated but aren't overly worn. There we go, I can finally English right. I wonder if Lily deliberately selects places like this to take Hanako. She seems like the type that will go to lengths to cater to Hanako's unique predicament. So, Hisao, I didn't know you played chess. Well, not very well, but I do know how to play. I suppose the obvious question would now be, Who won? Lily's innocent smile makes me hesitate. I don't really want to look like I'm lowering my victory over Hanako. Hisao did. Yeah, but not by much. Damn, saying that out loud makes me feel like I've done something terrible. Well done, Hisao. You accomplished something that I've only ever failed at. Thanks? I haven't played in ages, so it felt good to play again. Yes, it did. Hanako fidgets with her hair a little and looks away as she replies, but a small smile emerges. It's a little more extreme of a reaction than I expected, but still kind of cute in that Hanako way. It throws me a little off guard when Yuko's cataclysmic re-entry shocks me back into conversation. Are you alright, Yuko? Do you need a hand? I'm fine. I have to do this properly. It's my job. Concentration plays across her face while she stares at the tray in her hands, as if simply looking at its contents will help hold them in place. Sadly, this doesn't prove all that effective. The cups and saucers slowly dance around, occasionally colliding as they collide with one another. Taking great care, Yuko sets the tray down on the table with only the subtlest of crashes. There, see? Well done? Thank you, Yuko. Yuko heads rockets downwards in her distinctive bow before answering. You're very welcome. Would you like to join us? There's something else I'd like to discuss about that recent order, if I may. Ah, that's right. Lily and Yuko was discussing a pile of books when I first met Hanako. Something about Lily helps with the braille. Ah, yes. We didn't get the chance to go through them, did we? Yuko hastily sits down next to Hanako. Apparently her dedication to the job only goes as far as her concentration. Once it's broken, she suddenly loses it. I'll be in the library tomorrow afternoon if you'd like to try again. That sounds perfect. I'll meet you there after class. Lily? Oh dear, that's right. Tomorrow's Monday. How could I have forgotten? Starting to feel a little left out of the loop here. Then again, that's to be expected. I've been here for barely a week, so it's impossible to know everyone's schedule. Well, perhaps we could come to some other arrangement. Yuko, will you be in the library later in the week? Maybe, but this is already overdue. And there are some things I need. This might be a problem. Lily ponders for a second before discovering the answer. I wonder, might we be able to enlist the help of another if need be? To do what? You lost me quite some time ago. Being volunteered for something without even having the slightest idea what's going on isn't really my thing. And here I thought I had finally escaped the clutches of student council and the repeated attempts to recruit me. Yeah, no! Apparently not. The student council doesn't leave you alone. The student council will just get you in another body. Oh, of course. The other day I was helping Yuko sort the new Braille books in the library. But Hanako and I usually go shopping on Monday afternoons. It's quieter on that day than on weekends. Last week we couldn't go because I was busy with the festival. I managed to slip away later in the week, but Hanako couldn't make it. Well, since I can't read Braille, I'm assuming you'd like me to go shopping with Hanako? Correct. You were a great help to me the other day. I think I can handle that. Hanako, what do you think? If you wouldn't mind. Of course not. I'm still not familiar with all the stores in the area, so it sounds like a good idea. Okay. Now that we have that arranged, shall we have some tea? It's now that I realize our tea has been sitting idly by all this time, getting no hotter. It's my fault. Let me pour that for you. Yuko reaches out with her shaking hands, but I intercept her. She looks like in no state to be handling hot liquids. It's alright. I've got this. Since you already made the tea and sandwiches, you fulfilled your waitress duties, right? I guess. Yuko relaxes a little, but still watches eagerly as I shout the assortments. As I'm about to bite into the sandwich, a low rumble can be heard, along with a flash of light from outside. I take it the show has started? Only now looking outside, I realize that dusk has come and gone, leaving us in a peak of twilight. Sparking tracers arc upwards, ready to explode in a flowy shapes of fireworks. Let's go watch. Oh, sorry, Lily. Please, don't miss a show on my account. From what I've heard, this isn't a bad location to watch them from. With the exception of Lily, we rush to the window from a small tea house to watch the show. The strobe of colored lights plays across Hanako and Yuko's smiling faces. For a second, I forgot to look out the window. In this totally new world, there are a few things that don't change. I think that's why the school makes such a fuss over the festival. It's a chance to show the similarities between everyone. The show is over all too quickly. Fireworks are expensive, even for the most well-funded schools. Before we return to our tea and sandwiches, Hanako turns to me. Thanks for today. And tomorrow. That's okay. I don't think that I could have faced those crowds either. On days like this, it's more relaxing to spend time away from everyone, don't you think? Yeah. Anyway, we've been delaying this tea for far too long now. Let's get back. Sure. We turn to the booth and our light meal. That sounded impressive. Bigger than last year's, at least. Yeah, it was great. I'd never seen them put on such a show. It gets better every year. I'm afraid, however, that during that time, the tea has gone cold. Oh no! Let me make some more. This is my fault. Calm down, Yuko. It's nobody's fault. Take a sip from my cup just to prove the point. This tea isn't too bad cold, anyway. It's like an iced tea. Really? Yeah. Yes, really. If you add a bit of sugar, it's kind of nice. Are you sure? I'm positive. Why don't you sit down and we'll finish this together? Okay. Yuko doesn't seem convinced, but sits down regardless. She carefully measures out about 5 teaspoons of sugar and adds them to her tea. I said a bit of sugar. I know, but I like my tea sweet anyway. Curiously, I peer into her cup. As expected, hardly any of the sugar dissolves in the cold liquid. She stirs it twice before upturning the cup and drinking the contents, sugar and all in a single mouthful. You're right, that's not bad at all. Good? I look back to Lily and Hanako, both of whom have finished their meals as I witness Yuko's personality in action. Not wanting to hold anyone up, I use her tactic and finish the remainder of my tea in a single swill. Well then, seems we're finished. Should we head back now, or do we want seconds? Yuko's expression shows that this is quite clearly not a good idea. I think that would be best if we got back soon. We do have to go get back before curfew, after all. Oh, that's a good point. Meet you tomorrow, Yuko. I'll be looking forward to it. Lily, goodbye, everyone. Make our way out of the small tea house and into the dark of the night. Lily and Hanako once again take point, but under the cover of darkness, Hanako seems slightly less stressed than she did on the trip here. We move against the occasional group of people emptying the school grounds, but Hanako seems to lead us along a few minor roads, avoiding the bulk of the crowd. Beside the dorms, the school seems strangely quiet when compared to the noise of the day. Well then, thank you both for today. I think I learned a lot. You're most welcome, but I'm afraid I really must be going. Today's been a long day. That's right, Lily spent all day on her feet, and I can imagine that walking outside of the school would be pretty tiring for her. I feel a pang of guilt as I remember that I was probably the only one in the school that got up around 10 this morning. Sure thing. Well, see you both tomorrow. Good night. Good night, Hisao. Night. The girl returns to their dorm, and I to mine. Actually, now that I consider it, today tired me out as well. Oh, what the? What the? Act 2, Hide and Seek. Is this specifically for Hanako, or is it because I'm on Hanako's route? How long? Okay, 40 minutes. Okay, this is a bit of a longer video. I am saving, but I had a feeling I should have continued, and I was right. I don't want to quit yet. I want to go to the main menu, because if I am correct... Yep, there's Hanako. So I was right. So, hide and seek. Is it because we're on Hanako's route? Because that's very specifically Hanako. Okay, that's interesting. I could try with Lily, because I'm also on Lily's path. It looks like I've reached the separation point. It looks like the separation point was where I decided either to go to town or go to the library. I could be wrong about that. But anyways, that's all for this time. This will be Sonic the Hedgehog Gamer. I hope you enjoyed the series so far, and hope you I hope you come back tomorrow for when we, well, do Act 2. See you guys then.